Furunculosis of the ear canal. Let us see the structure of the ear first. So, this part is the external auditory canal. The external auditory canal has got two parts, the outer cartilaginous part and inner bony part. So, hairs are normally seen only in the outer cartilaginous part. So, if we see the structure of one hair, it looks like this. So, you see three lines in this, 1, 2 and 3. The third line, it is pointing that structure is called as, that part of the hair is called as hair follicle. And what the gland which you see here is a sebaceous gland which secretes oily secretions called sebum. And sebum has got so many functions. So, it lubricates the hair and the skin, it gives a protective covering of the skin, it's antibacterial also, and it's got thermoregulatory effect also, and contributes to body odor. So, it has got so many actions. So, this part of the hair which is called the hair follicle, if that part is getting infected because of a bacterial infection, then it is called as furunculosis. So, in the ear it is seen in the outer part where you have the hair, normally you have the hairs. So, this is commonly seen in those people who keep on cleaning the ear with something. Say they have the habit of cleaning the ear with earbuds, or maybe with a small tissue with a paper, or a pencil tip, or thin frames, or maybe a pen, the cap of the pen, and so on. So, what happens is when they keep on touching that external canal, that part, the protective sebum secretion is removed, and that part becomes dry, and that hair covering is decreased. Usually it is covered with a oily secretion. So, that protective layer is gone. So, it is very easy for the bacteria to go inside the hair cell and to reach the follicle and result in furunculosis. But this usually happens, it is not very common. If you ask one person, maybe he gets once in a lifetime or so. But if the same furunculosis, it keeps on repeating again and again, then we have to do some investigation to find out if there are any other causes, like diabetes, which is the second commonest reason for it. Or if suppose the blood sugar is normal, then we have to see whether the immune system in the body is normal or not. Because even in immunodeficiency conditions, like those who are taking steroids for a long time, renal transplant patients, any transplant patients, patient on antibiotic for a long time, and patients on anti-cancer treatment, anti-neoplastic drugs, like that. So, their immune system will not be working normally. Even in that condition, you may see they will be getting furunculosis again and again. Now, coming to the presentation, patient complaints. They will say that they have got a severe ear pain, and if you ask them, do you have an upper respiratory tract infection, running nose, they will say no. I have and if you ask them, do you have the habit of cleaning the ears? They say yes. And they have severe pain, and some of them they say there is a small discharge too. And suppose the swelling is occluding the canal, they may have a hearing loss also, and they may tell you one more important clue, or tell you something which will help you in the diagnosis. Like they may say whenever they open the mouth and whenever they eat something or drink something or move their jaw, the ear pain increases. So, these are the common presentations. So, on examination, whichever part of the ear you touch, the patient will have severe pain. And on examination of the ear canal, you will find a swelling there. This is the furunculosis. And if you touch this part with any instrument, the patient will have severe pain. And there will be ear discharge too. After cleaning the discharge, when you put in a camera or auto endoscopy, we can have a look of the eardrum, and it will be normal, because we have to rule out other conditions. Suppose this is not normal, that means the pathology is in the middle ear and it is not in the external ear. So, in this condition, furunculosis, the eardrum will be normal. Likewise, when you examine behind the ear, the groove which is seen here, that will be obliterated, and in severe infection you will have swelling in front, behind and below the ear, and it will be tender to touch. These are lymph nodes. So, in a straightforward case, and it is not recurrent, the person gets once and he has got for the first time, and it's a straightforward case on examination, we don't need any investigation. But he or she says, the patient says, it comes again and again recurrent, then we have to examine, we have to do some investigation to rule out diabetes mellitus. Suppose the blood sugar happens to be normal, then we have to do an immunoprofile to see whether the immune system is working properly or not. Now, if the immune system is working properly, then we have to work out whether they have Staphylococcus autoantibodies. So these are the few investigations which is rarely done. Say in past 24 years, I have done just in one patient. So the commonest cause being ear cleaning, and the second commonest being diabetes, third one being immunodeficiency. That's it. Now coming to the treatment. So let us divide the patient into two groups. One group, they have furunculosis, but there is no definite abscess. Second group, they have furunculosis, but there is a definite abscess collection inside. So let us deal with the first group first. Now the external ear should be cleaned of all the secretions and debris, and we have to pack it with a medicated wig. Medicated means this contains ecthymol glycerin. So ecthymol glycerin, it has got so many actions. This is black in color, dark in color, and if you apply in the hand, you will have local warmth too. So see, the ear pain is because there is a swelling. That means there is pressure point there. So what the ecthymol does is, it removes all the water content from inside the swelling decreases in size. When the swelling decreases in size, automatically the pain decreases. So ecthymol, it absorbs water and decreases the tension, and it is, when we pack the ear canal tightly, so it gives a counter pressure on the walls and splinting action. So when you open and close the mouth during eating, you don't experience much of pain, and it has got antibacterial effect, antiseptic effect, and antibacterial effect. And since it has got a local warmth in the place where you have applied, it increases the local blood supply and stimulates the local circulation, which helps in further action. So these are the actions of ecthymol and glycerin. So when you pack, we have to do 3 consecutive days. Some of the doctors, they may advise you to reinforce or apply 2 or 3 drops in the afternoon and night and come the next day morning. And some of them, they may add 1 or 2 drops in the ear canal before placing the pack. That's also fine. Now, this has to be done every day for 3 days. So it decreases the canal edema, thereby the pain comes down. Along with this treatment, we need to give you a course of antibiotic and painkiller. That is the conservative management. Now coming to the surgical management. Suppose there is abscess inside, which is localized. Unless you remove the abscess, it is not going to heal. Now we have 2 techniques for that, 2 methods. One is you can put a broad gauge needle so that you can aspirate all the abscess. You can see the abscess here, pus here. Or you can put a small nick and make an opening so that all the pus is removed. Mind it, this is done in the hospital, in the minor OT, operation theatre, under strict aseptic precaution. Please do not try any of this at home, please. It is done in the hospital. Now after draining all the abscess, we had to place a medicated wig, and some doctors may add a fusilin ointment or miprazine ointment, which are antibacterial, which can help for faster healing. Now along with this surgical part, again ear pack and antibiotic course and painkiller. So this is how we manage a case of furunculosis of the external ear canal. Thank you so much.